What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bettor Mark. I am Mark, and let's get into Tuesday, February 27th. We're going to be breaking down the college basketball slate, and I'm going to give you guys a quick recap of what went down on Monday, and then we're going to touch upon a promotion that I'm going to be running here on the channel. So make sure you guys are all subscribed here on YouTube as well as on X. The handle is in the bottom left. March Madness, March 1st, I'm going to be dropping details to that promotion where we'll be giving a couple giveaways to the subscribers on the channel. But the criteria for that is that you're going to have to be subscribed on X as well as on YouTube. And there's going to be a couple other things that you're going to have to do to be eligible to win that prize. So March 1st, make sure you guys have that notification bell on because that's where I'll be dropping the details to what's going down in that contest, okay? But just to recap what we did on Monday, okay, this is where we look at, I had two plays, split the pair, as well as a couple strong leans that I wasn't really going to play. I ended up playing one at the final hour, kind of in-game. I was able to sneak into that one and take a live under, okay? But let's get into the official plays. Delaware got out to a hot start, but not able to close it out. They got completely outmatched. There was a, I think, 31-13 run in the second part of the first half where we saw Delaware kind of fall behind. And they did have a chance late in the second half to come back into this contest. But at the end of the day, guys, not able to get it done. So 0-1 on that play. And then we did have Bethune-Cookman. That was kind of my hammer play, if you will. I love saying that word, but don't actually have any hammer plays as of this moment. We're going to try to do something a little special on the channel that's a little bit different out of the ordinary, but that is something where I was really in love with Bethune-Cookman. Unable to close it in regulation, but they did end up getting the cover in the first overtime and the first overtime only, okay? And then also, guys, we had a couple leans along the way. This is one where we saw the Baylor TCU game, okay, at TCU, one where both of these teams were coming off some very tough battles, okay? We know about the previous matchup where this game went to triple overtime. So it was one where I was a little bit weary. Where was the legs? Where was his defense? But this is one where, guys, I was a strong lean to the under. I did not see 150 points in this game, so I was able to get into a live opportunity, full disclosure, where I took the under 149.5, and the final ended up being 62-54. So that was a good result in that contest. And then the other lean that we had was taking Miami plus 14. It ended up actually closing plus 14.5. Judging upon that past performance, it wasn't an official play, just solely because what we saw with the previous matchup, that's one where, you know, North Carolina had a 12-point lead late in the second half and then ended up giving the backdoor to Miami, basically winning only by 3 in that contest, if I'm correct in that regard, okay? So that's what we went on Monday, okay? So split the official plays, 2-0 in the leans, and now let's get into Tuesday's card. This is where I'm going to have 5 games, 5 picks for you guys. Keep it short and sweet. I'll get you on your way. First game we're going to be going into is in Baton Rouge. We're going to be going down to the Georgia game at LSU. This is one where we look at some of the recent performance, guys, and judging also by what we're seeing from the LSU injury report, this could shift this game one way or direction or another. But, guys, back Georgia in some big spots. Georgia's been a strong team for me, but we're going to look in some recent form. Georgia losing to Auburn by 21, losing by Florida by 2, lost to Arkansas. 4 out of their last 5. I know that these are some quality opponents, but look at the LSU team, guys. This is where we look at them beating Kentucky at home, beating South Carolina on the road, kind of a similar loss in defeat to Florida, and then losing to Alabama by 10 at home for LSU, which, you know, that was one where, guys, they were 9-point underdogs, and a lot of people had LSU. I had Alabama in that contest, so it was good to cash that ticket. But, guys, we look at the recent form. This is one where I see a little bit of an edge towards LSU just by being at home. So unless we get some unforeseen injury news along the way, I'm going to be locking in LSU minus 3.5 in this contest, okay? Next, we're going to go out to what we're looking at in Rock Chalk Jayhawk Rupp Arena. This is where BYU's coming to town. Newly formed BYU in the Big 12, not covering 4 of their last 5. The Jayhawks 17-6 on the year, BYU 17-8. But this is a different Kansas team than what we saw in the first half of the season. Okay, so this is where we're sitting at. Kansas is now -7 favorites with an over-under at 153. That total is set. But, guys, there's some early money coming on Kansas. And this is one where I see this number has crept up a little bit. At one point, guys, you could have got a 5.5. You could have got a 6 in the market with Kansas laying the points. But I think this is going to be something where they continue their perfect 14-0 stretch at home, and I think they win by margin. I think they get it done by 10 points. This is when we look at Kansas basically really destroying some of the metrics that we look at. They just insanely amount of offense efficiency. But this is where you look at BYU's defense. They give up 86 plus points on average. Okay, this is where BYU can really light it up from three. But I'm going to take the Jayhawks at home. Okay, I think they win by 10. I'm going to play this number at anywhere as up till 9. I don't think it's going to move any farther. Like I said, guys, you could have got it 5.5. So that's why it's so very important to turn on notification bell, because when I drop these lines, sometimes you got to really get them once they first come out. And that's why a lot of times I make these videos the day before actually the games are taking place. Okay, so lock it in. Kansas -7 at the time of the recording. All right, and then we're going to the third play. This is a kind of a matchup where we look at one of the worst teams in college basketball. And if we turn back the clock, guys, we go back into the 90s, back into the 80s, so on and so forth, and even into the 2000s. This is where we look at the Georgetown Hoyas, right, going on the road, taking on Villanova. And the Wildcats, we all know that they got blown out with Connecticut in that get-right spot. And this is exactly what I see them doing to the Hoyas, laying 16 at home. I'm going to be locking in Villanova -16. I know it's a big number, but I think this is one where they can win by 20. We look at DePaul taking on Georgetown and them being basically neck to neck. And if you look at DePaul's track record, their recent splits, guys, they might be the worst team in college basketball. And I know that's kind of crazy to think about, a Big East team, but guys, DePaul, Georgetown, very, very poor quality basketball teams in the NCAA, okay? So let's look for the Villanova Wildcats to get right in this spot. I see them winning. Last time they played at Georgetown, they ended up winning by 16, covering as a 10-point favorite. I think they get it done at home. I think that's why we're seeing the 16 in the market, is because of that past game. But I think this is when we might see the towel come up. We might see the 38% team on the road against the spread. The Georgetown Hoyas really raised that white flag. Hopefully Villanova does not take them lightly, but I'm confident enough that they're going to cover the 16, and 16 possibly with margin in this contest, okay? Fourth play, we're going to be challenging Rick Barnes, okay? We're going to go against Rick Barnes. Big game Rick, if you will, on the road, just never gets it done, seems to never cover this spread on the road, even just winning outright. Big game Rick lets us down always in March Madness, and this is no surprise where I'm going to be taking Texas Tech -4.5. Lock it in. Both of these teams, though, not covering and failing to cover 4 of their last 5. And when we look at this number, getting an opening number at 4, they have since inched up to that 4.5. A little early money and a little indication on Texas Tech. We look at some of the matchup, guys. Texas playing on the road against Kansas, getting their breaks beat off of them when we look at that 86-67 defeat, okay? And then some of the other common matchups in recent form, it's one where you really got to understand that Texas Tech is a better team at home, beating TCU 82-81 at home. And we look at Kansas suffering one of their only losses on the road, playing Texas Tech, losing 79-50. So just on potential alone, guys, I know it's kind of a get-right spot for Texas, but it's really hard to pack your bags, load up the bus, get on the road. Despite being in the state of Texas, Texas is a 33% road cover, 33% against the spread on the road, 9-18. And really, guys, I just truly feel like Texas Tech could win this game in blowout fashion. Sometimes we see these teams really just the rail starts falling off and they start losing control. And this is something where it's no different, where all of a sudden you lose by 19 points at Kansas, and boom, pack your bags. We're going to Texas Tech, right? And that is a whole nother ball game in itself, because they take college basketball very seriously in Texas, especially these in-state little mini rivalries they got going on, okay? So lock it in, Texas Tech -4.5. Hopefully we can get a 4 out there, but with the early money flowing in on Texas Tech, doubt that number is going to recede at all, okay? And then the final game, we're going to keep it real. We're going to stay in the MAC, go get some action on a Tuesday. This is where we look at BG, okay? BG edging out Toledo, blowing them out at home. A very important game for them, guys. This is one where they need to win this game to be eligible for the MAC tournament. First time in a long time, and this is one, guys, where I'm not comfortable laying any points. Sure, you can take BG with margin, but I'm going to be locking in the BG -160 at the time of this recording. Shop around, find the best number out there. This is one where we look at BG at home, a completely different animal, and I think they get it done at home, despite Miami and the Redhawks having a pretty above average cover spread when we look at them on the road against the spread. Okay, so lock it in. BG money line. Just going to play the minus 160 before that line moves any further. I think it's one where you look at BG's form and what they need to do. They are by far going to be a more motivated team approaching this contest at home with the momentum rolling, fresh off a rivalry win against Toledo. I think this is where BG gets it done. Like I said, so lock it in, money line. And that about wraps it up. That's my 5 plays that I gave you guys where we broke down basically a little bit of a recap on the 26th. And then we got into the plays for Tuesday, February 27th. So hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys were all able to cash some tickets. As always, guys, make sure you all subscribe down below here on YouTube as well as on X. The handle's in the bottom left. And guys, as always, share with me what you guys are on, where your plays are at. And obviously, if you have any crazy winners out there, feel free to drop me a DM or any kind of communication on Twitter. And I'll try my best to respond to you guys on the channel as well. But truthfully, guys, the channel is booming. Everybody, I appreciate you all being part of the team here. This is one where, guys, we're looking to expand. We got a lot of moving parts. Forgive me, I'm in my basement, like I said in an earlier video. We're doing some renovations in the office, so it's going to be hit or miss for a while, but this is one where I wanted to get these plays and picks as soon as I got them in. As always, guys, the numbers can change throughout the day, so what I put on YouTube is obviously at the time of recording, and these numbers are subject to change. So stay tuned, stay locked into this video where I'll update if there's any change in my plays, any change with injury concerns, statuses, so on and so forth. I'll try to drop that down below in the comments throughout the day, the pinned comment, if you will. So make sure you guys are all checking back this video so often. And guys, let's go cash some tickets. Let's start off this week. We had a smaller slate on Monday. Tuesday, a better card. No real marquee games, okay? I'll take the Baylor-TCU game over pretty much any of the games on this Tuesday slate. But, guys, NBA is back in full swing. This is really where we start getting into the meat and bones of what we're talking about within college basketball, get into the NBA playoffs, hockey season's in full swing, soccer. It's kind of where the sports equinox really starts to take flight as spring training, pitchers and catchers, and we're starting to see all these crazy, climates that we're seeing in some of these really exotic locations where, guys, it really hits home for me because that was my life a long time ago, and I love the sport of baseball, so I can't wait to start talking about it with you guys here on the channel. So that's what I got. I hope you guys all enjoy and found some value from this content. As always, guys, remember to subscribe down below, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.